Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've just done a video like this where I sit and talk about Halo, because if I'm being honest, as much as I enjoy things like Smash Brothers, Marvel, Star Wars, this channel really was birthed as a Halo channel, and so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And of course, what better to talk about than Halo Infinite? Halo Infinite's most recent and possibly final, I believe it's the last one before launch, flight/beta has occurred over this past weekend, and today we're going to be talking about it and my general thoughts and opinions about it, because there's a lot to talk about. And my first impression is definitely positive. I think this is going to be a very solid game. It's very fun. In fact, as much as I had problems playing it and got a little frustrated, now that it's gone from me and I can't, play it right now, I definitely miss it. And so that feeling of, oh, I wish I could be playing Halo Infinite is still in my brain, so that's a good thing. I'm actually really looking forward to be able to play the game again, and I miss the game. I do actually genuinely miss it. So, like I said, I think it's going to be a very positive experience, and it's going to get, honestly, I think it's going to probably do very well, especially around launch. It's going to have a lot of people playing it, a lot of people streaming it and talking about it, and that really excites me because, in a way, and I hate using this term, but it feels like Halo is back, right? This is something that I've talked about a lot on this channel, is that I don't think Halo is ever going to reach, no pun intended, the glory days again. This idea that it will ever be as popular, ever as good, and ever as fun as it used to be. And even though, in general, I kind of became a fan of Halo 5 towards the end of its life cycle, there's no denying that that game was incredibly divisive and different. As much as I like that game, I have to admit, it's not really what people come to expect from a Halo game. And so, this flight and this first impression has been very strong, right? It looks good, it plays well, it's very smooth, and that was something about this flight that I enjoyed. Is the previous one, earlier in September, I had a lot of issues with, I couldn't, or was that August? I think it was August. I just had performance issues. The game didn't run well for me, it crashed a lot. Now granted, this most recent one did crash for me a few times, but it wasn't a deal breaker, right? I have to remember, this is a flight, this is pre-release, and now that that kind of bad impression of the game was away, I could come back into the game and really focus on the game, right? And think about, map design, weapon balance, sound design, all that stuff. And so I kind of want to break down some of my thoughts on it. So as you can see, I was playing this on PC. I played this on PC, but primarily with controller. And this is going to be one of my first big negatives with the game in its current state. Is playing it with controller is not very fun, and I think I have pretty good explanation for this. Halo 1, Halo 2 were developed for the original Xbox. Hardware that's extremely limited, with that required a lot of aim assist, that required a lot of cheating, not like actual cheating, but just technical cheats to be able to get the game playable with your thumbs. And then as the game series moved along to the Xbox 360, that got a little different, but it was still limited. And the 360 was such a, in retrospect, a very low-powered console, right? There's not a lot of its power. Ooh, we got rid of the there's not a lot of power on display there with the 360, right? And so I think that was another factor to why those games on the MCC feel really good with controller. It could be the overtuned aim assist, like people have complained about and stuff like that, but I do think that those older Halo games play better on controller. This is a game that is first and foremost PC, and in my current setup, which, horrible, I have the worst setup you could ever want. My mouse, yeah, it's not a great setup. I couldn't really play with mouse and keyboard comfortably, so I stuck with controller because Halo's been a game on controller for decades, literally 2 decades. And so for it to not feel good on controller, and precisely, I mean the precision weapons, they don't feel great. especially the pistol and the commando. On controller, I swear the commando has no aim assist whatsoever. And same with the sidekick. It has none at all either, and that's not very fun. The game should feel good to play, and I went back and played some Halo 3 and some Halo Reach on PC with controller, and the games feel fine. So it's definitely a Halo Infinite problem. And so my main request is please, please bump up the aim assist, at least a little bit. And if you have to, limit inputs, right? Call of Duty, I think, does this better than anything out there. Fortnite did it for a while, and then they kind of just said, screw it, we're not going to worry about it. And so I'm kind of glad that MCC does it pretty well too, but they limit your options, right? So with Cold War, for example, Call of Duty Cold War, if you're playing that, and you're playing with a controller, there's an option in the menu to not match with people using the same with different input than you. So you won't match against people with a mouse. You won't match against you know, that kind of difference. And that is something I think Infinite is going to need. Now, I think the pros are probably going to end up playing on mouse and keyboard, but it's just a shame because Infinite, Halo has always been a controller game, right? I am not used to playing games on keyboard and mouse, just in general. It's not my preferred format. I don't enjoy it. And I know this is going to sound boomer, but Halo 5 was extremely fun and extremely playable on controller. And that's that is my big wish. I want the game to be better playable. Anyways, we're gonna move on. The controller issue is a big issue for me. I had to play with the settings quite a lot to make it feel playable, and that's a shame because it's a great game that deserves to be played in the way that you want it to be able to be played, and that's kind of where we are in gaming right now. And so this game is all about accessibility, right? And so please just give us really good options for our input, because they give us all these other crazy options. Like, as you can see, I made the enemy team, or my teammates, green. And later in the flight, I decided to screw around with the enemy team because the red was kind of hard to see, so I made them yellow. You know, that's great. I really like that accessibility. And even though it kind of annoys me that 343 just has to change so much that they, you know, they want to change everything so that, you know, there's no red versus blue. That's annoying, but, like, that's beside the point. Another thing I want to talk about is the UI. As you can see, the UI is a little different than we're used to. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just, there's a lot of things that bother me. So, I think the main thing is the scoreboard down here at the bottom. I'm not a big fan of that. I much prefer it when it's over here. Because they decided to put the weapons and grenades on the bottom, when traditionally that's been up here. You know, the weapons over here, and the grenades on this side. And so I would like if they could move those around. And another thing is the radar. It's tiny. It's only 18 meters, even in big team battle, which is really frustrating because these are, you know, these are bigger maps than we're kind of used to. Halo 5 had smaller maps, but Infinite has decided to make the maps a little bigger. And that's cool. I think the maps generally have been pretty good. I think Behemoth, the one you see on my screen now, I don't really like it. However, the other one, I forgot the name of it. The one that's similar, the bluish one, the one that was earlier in this video, I think that was probably my favorite map. I didn't play BTB as much because I prefer Arena, and so I didn't mess around with the BTB map that much. So, you know, I think the maps are pretty good, and you know, we're granted to see more. Why is there Call of Duty music in this playlist? We're bound to see more maps, and I hope to see good remakes of older maps. Specifically, I'd like to see Plaza, but that's beside the point. So the UI, just, I think it needs little tweaks here and there. I think the health and the shields, great, it's fine. I think the radar should be bigger, but I generally like it as it is. The kill feed, at first, I didn't really like that much, but it's, you know, it's grown on me. But another thing, we gotta talk about medals, okay? this is such a stupid thing to complain about, but I'm a huge fan of medals, right? So you know how in the MCC you can actually use the new Halo 2 Anniversary style medals? I guess they're Halo 4. I turn those off for the old games. I hate that. So I use the Halo 2 medals for Halo 2 and the Halo 3 medals for Halo 3 and Halo Reach. I just prefer the older medals because I like the way they're designed. And the medals in this game are not cutting it for me. They look... Not only do they not look good, but they're too small and they appear in like the worst possible place of the screen. So like, look at this. You know, I kill this guy. I'm going after him. I got my AR, which by the way, the AR is crazy good. It's probably, not only is it the easiest gun to use, but it's just really strong. So yeah, I don't know about that. But okay, so you know, I kill this guy, and then Killing Spree pops up on my screen. And yeah, I know it's a little smaller for you guys, but on my screen, that's not even the size of my pinky, okay? It's tiny. And you can't even really see what it is, and I just miss... I think Halo 5 did pretty good, where they put them, you know, down in the bottom middle, but of course I'm going to always be a fan of them being in the left, because that's what I'm used to. As you can see here, I'm having trouble aiming with controller with the commando, because it's impossible, okay? But enough of that complaining aside. I think medals should look better. I know that's not a great criticism, but another thing is they've changed the name of a lot of them. Okay, and this bothers me too. No Scope. Why is it called No Scope? Okay, Halo is such a unique series, and to remove Snapshot, such a iconic and memorable medal, with something really generic like No Scope, like, that's stupid. You know, there's no Super Combine medal, at least not yet. I know there's a lot of medals that have changed names that are just, I don't know, not a fan of that, so we're gonna have to figure that out, I guess. And then, as you can see, I'm using the Needler here. The Needler's good. One thing I noticed with a lot of the weapons is they're honestly a little inconsistent. And I don't know if that's just the build of the game, or how they've just designed the game in general, or what, because, you know, at times the BR felt really good to use, and then at other times the BR was kind of annoying to use, and so I don't know if that's just a me issue, or, like, okay, Quick Draw, that's a fine medal, but it looks different than in Halo 5, and, like, you can barely even see what it is. Like, it's just a Spartan holding a thing, like, what? You can barely see it. Same with, like, No Scope. No Scope's the same, where it looks like just a Spartan with, like, a laser on him, and it just looks, I don't know. Medal's definitely got to improve. I do like how the game looks. Like, I think Behemoth, even though it's probably my least favorite map, is really good looking. And, you know, the visual design is pretty much on point. There are things I don't love the look of. For example, I don't love, like, the Heatwave, for example. I think some of the Forerunner stuff just, it's not to my taste. I think the architecture looks good, but the Forerunner weapons are not my favorite. Another thing I noticed here, as I'm remembering with the Ghost, is for some reason the sensitivity felt really low on the Ghost, like aiming, and there should be a way to change that, right? I think there should be, you know, this game has so many sliders and bars and you know, options. There should be an option to change your sensitivity when you're in a vehicle. It's a little weird, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that feedback reaches them. Okay, so I haven't talked about the elephant in the room, equipment, okay? A lot of the equipment is fun to use, and this was kind of my big worry, was like, oh, you're just going to see people grappling everywhere you go. People, at least in the flight, seemed pretty tame with, especially the grapple. I'm sure as the game goes along and people get better, they're going to realize how useful the grapple is, how it can break game design and stuff like that. And like here, I tried using it to kind of outmaneuver, and it just didn't end up working. And so as we get better at the game and figure out like what's good to use, like probably I should have used it to go up or something, but maybe I shouldn't have used it at all. You know, I'm just playing around with it, and as we get better with the equipment, they're either going to become more annoying, or we're going to realize that some are just way better than others. I think as it stands, the repulsor has shown a lot of possibility in the sandbox, to be able to not only launch yourself, but launch other people, launch weapons, launch vehicles, stuff like that. It's a fun thing to use. Ones that were kind of... The wall is surprisingly weak. I was expecting the wall to be really annoying, but the drop wall is pretty well balanced. It will break really easily if it's being shot at. I don't love that it's one-sided, so you can shoot through it. I liked how in Halo 3 the bubble shield kind of added another layer to the combat. That's kind of not here anymore with the drop shield. You know, the enemy still has to go on the other end of it to shoot you, but you can shoot them. So yeah, as you can see here, I used the repulsor to make him fall off the map, which I thought was a lot of fun. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about is so this is a smaller map, right? This is not a map with... It is a map with vehicles in mind, but it's not, like, designed around it. And you can kind of tell because they've decided, and this is something I really want them to change, they've decided that the plasma pistol should no longer EMP vehicles. And I think in the grand scheme of, like, BTB and campaign, that's fine. But in a small arena map like this, I don't like it. I think it's, you know, there are lots of things to be able to combat the Ghost on this map, like the grapple shot, the EMP grenades, and I think the Shockwave is also on this map, which, by the way, that gun is really weird. I think I'm about to pick it up here. It's a weird gun. And so there are ways to combat it, but the plasma pistol is such an icon, and I know it hasn't been able to EMP things for every game, but it was a really smart idea, and you know, I miss that. It's a really iconic feature. So hopefully they change that and play with the balance a little bit, because yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of being just destroyed by a Ghost all the time. And again, I didn't play a lot of BTB, so I really can't speak to it, but I did play a lot of objective-based game modes, and I think Capture the Flag is probably the best it's been since Reach. It's fun in 5, and you know, it has its moments, but I think this is the best it's been in a long time. Same with Strongholds. Strongholds was a fun addition in 5, and I'm glad to see it return with some tweaks. The maps definitely feel a lot less prioritized, if that makes sense. The you know how on, like, the Rig, for example, you would get basement and nest, and those were, you know, you didn't need to get BR base because the map wasn't really balanced around the 3 strongholds, and that seems to be, at least in the main maps that I've played Strongholds on, that doesn't seem to be an issue anymore, which is actually really cool. I like that because, you know, there's going to be strategies, there's going to be better ways to, you know, play the game and stuff like that, but I liked how balanced Strongholds felt, and it didn't really feel like we were being stomped because we couldn't gain control again. There was a really good balance, and I liked that a lot. CTF, like I said, is fun, and I think the game mode I'm most excited to see is Oddball. Oddball has always been a favorite of mine, and I wasn't a big fan of it in 5, and so if they can tweak it to make it really fun and infinite, I think Oddball is going to be really cool. It may return to competitive. That would be really fun. So, okay, I want to talk about weapon balance a little bit. It's not something I'm going to get too bogged down in. The AR is really good. I think this is, you know, the Halo 5 AR was great. I think this is not as good as the Halo 5 AR. It doesn't feel as fun to use, but it's definitely as good, if not better or worse than it. It's a really strong gun, and I like that. The sniper, okay. This is a gun that has bamboozled me ever since the first flight. It is incredibly difficult to use, especially on controller, but I've heard even people that are really good on keyboard and mouse have had issues with it, so take that for what you will. It is a difficult gun to use, and it's a little frustrating because in 4 and 5, and to an extent MCC, I've gotten really good with the sniper. I pride myself in the sniper, especially in Halo 3 and in Halo 5. And so this sniper feels a lot like the Halo 2 sniper. And, you know, there's far less bullet magnetism, there's not, as you can see, I was trying to line up a no-scope there, I just didn't feel confident. But, yeah, the sniper is definitely harder to use. The rockets feel great, I love how they sound and look, they're great. Sidekick, and I get an F in the chat for my homie, Halo 5 Magnum, because, wow, name a worse downgrade. I almost think it's worse than the Halo 2 Magnum. It's bad. So I don't know what they're gonna do about that. The sidekick, or not the sidekick. What do they call the shotgun? The bulldog, I think. It took some getting used to, but I actually really like it. It's a bold choice. This is something that 343 does. They just do these bold ass things that kind of piss you off at first, but then you're like, you know what? This isn't that bad. And the shotgun was one of those, and you know, I think it's gonna pay off for them. The heat wave, a weird gun. I didn't really like it that much. The shockwave gun was pretty cool. I liked it. It's a 2-shot. It's kind of like a binary rifle from Halo 5 almost. You can headshot with it, but good luck with that. The BR though, easily my favorite gun. It feels really good. It feels probably about as good as the I think it's hit scan, but it feels about as good as the Halo 2 Anniversary battle rifle, which is really good to know. The Needler, like, I feel like that should have super combined. Am I the only one that thinks that? The Needler felt a little inconsistent, but I love how it looks. It sounds great, stuff like that. As you can see here, I tried using the repulsor to negate that grenade. I think it landed there. Oh no, he's gonna throw another one at me. Yeah, so I tried reflecting it. I was never that successful with reflecting the grenades with the repulsor, so that's gonna take some practice. The Ravager is a cool gun. It's a lot better than I expected it to be, and I used it a lot more than I expected. But the main thing with this game is as you can see, I keep switching to the Magnum. This is my Halo 5 brain. Okay? This is my Halo 5 brain doing this, and I had to learn to stop doing that. So, instead of replacing the AR with a precision weapon, I replaced the pistol with one. Because the AR, like I keep saying, is really strong. Okay? As you can see, it's just reliable, it's effective, it's strong. Like here, you know, the sidekick is pretty good for that. Finishing off kills. It is not a gun that you're going to use off the rip, okay? And that's something that's going to take a lot of getting used to for me. The sniper, yeah, as you can see, the sniper glare is something that they introduced in 4 because they realized that the sniper is pretty good in 4. And so they added this glare to the game so that it would... actually, I don't know, it would make it more obvious that you have the sniper, stuff like that, but in this game it doesn't feel that necessary. You know, descoping is also gone, so it doesn't seem that necessary. To have it. So I think they should either tone it down or get rid of it. As you can see, you can grapple the flag. That is just... I love that, okay? The grapple, as much as I am against equipment, okay? It's annoying playing like Halo Reach, for example, and you know, you just have people armor locking and jetpacking everywhere. But this felt a lot less spammy. Also, there was an issue. I wish... I'm sure... they can figure out something, but I hate in Halo when you're trying to pick up something and you pick up the wrong thing. I don't know how they can fix that, but that is an issue with this game, is when you kill someone, they have the potential of dropping like 4 things you can pick up, okay? They drop their 2 guns, I think. So they'll drop their pistol and their AR, or whatever. And so then, let's say you want to drop your BR to pick up the AR or whatever. You'll accidentally pick up or change grenades, you'll accidentally pick up equipment, you'll accidentally pick up the flag, you know. There's all these things that blarf out of people when they die. And auto pickup of some sort would be nice, but, you know, when you have full grenades, it's not really something you can do. So that was something that bothered me a lot. I had issues with that, okay? There's the sniper. Pinging is fun, it's useful, I'm glad it's in the game. Here was a little glitchy with the grapple, but you know, again, we don't know about how the monetization is really going to work. Okay, we don't know the campaign, so I'm really purely basing my opinion of the game off of this flight, and I like the game. Okay, I'm not in love with it. I'm not crazy head over heels for it, but I like it. I like it. I like it more than 4. I think I like it more than Reach. I'm not quite sure. Reach has kind of grown on me over the years, as funny as that sounds, and you know, I like it more than Halo CE multiplayer. So yeah, this game it has a lot of potential, and I think 343 knows this, right? They know that They know that everyone's eyes are on this game, and I've been pretty critical of 343 for the entirety of my channel, okay? And I've said that this is a make-or-break game for 343. If they don't nail this, or there's a bad launch, it's almost like just get them out of here, okay? I know 343 cares about Halo, but there's just so much pressure on them. It has taken so long for this game to come out, okay, that it's like they have to deliver. And I think for the most part they have. I've seen a lot of really happy people, and the things that we're complaining about are very minuscule, okay? They're not like these crazy things we've debated about. I'm not happy about Sprint. They've kind of tried to balance it, but I still don't love it. I'm not happy about the abilities. I don't want a grapple hook in Halo, but we're here, so I have to accept that and move on, okay? So that's what I'm doing. I don't know why this is having so many issues playing, but it is. So yeah, that I think is going to be it for me today, guys. I think I might do 1 or 2 more videos about Halo Infinite before it releases, but kind of where we're standing now, I think the game's in a pretty good place, okay? And it's going to be a pretty promising game. I'm excited for a competitive rule set, and I know I could probably say a million more things, but I kind of wanted to keep this video under 30 minutes, so I'm going to be ending it here. It's a fun game. It has potential. There's some issues I want fixed, but I think people seem pretty happy with it at the end of the day. So, without further ado, everybody, thank you for watching, and as always, stay strong, Spartans.